Peace, love, knowledge, and freedom. Welcome to another exciting episode of the Just Seen podcast. And today, as you've seen from the title, we're going to be talking about belonging. Now, I don't know what kind of space I'm in. I've never been in this space before, so it's kind of new to me. But I'm in a space of block spinning, like not on humans, but I'm going back to old episodes. And, well, I ain't going back to them. They're just coming back to revisit. Like, with respect, how it transitioned into authority and autonomy. This one kind of piggybacks off of that with the authority and the autonomy, but it really centers on a previous episode I did on acceptance and rejection. Accepting the rejection of people, and being at a point of understanding that. And I've been talking about it. I've even been teaching about it a little bit. Through my sessions, through my books and stuff. And when you reach a point of understanding, when you actually go through the levels of the mind with specific points of life, just anything, belief, knowledge, wisdom, and understanding. Once you get to understanding, you get to the point where you can choose to accept or reject. But you cannot accept or reject something until you have understanding about it. If you do not have understanding what you're attempting to accept or reject, you're developing fear or faith towards it. So it's not that you're choosing to avoid it rather than dissociating from it. You feel what I'm saying? And it's when you have acceptance and rejection that allows you to do that. And I want to talk about the sense of belonging because it ties to that. So I made a post. I didn't really make it. I stole it. Like, you feel me? I've been stealing a lot of posts. But I stole this particular post. I ain't gonna say I stole it because that ain't what it's called. It's called remixing. So I remixed this particular post in which a woman was saying that, her and her four black friends graduated from college and got their masters. And it's like they playing the game as you're supposed to be doing whatever you're supposed to do. And one of her friends, she did everything she was supposed to do, and they didn't promote her simply because she wasn't, quote unquote, playing the game. And the guy that leaves to go walk his dog at 3 o'clock or whatever the case may be plays the game. So I'm like, okay, I get it. I got it. You see what I'm saying? So somebody comments and says, oh, we need to stop making it about race and play the game. Even in my caption, I didn't say shit about race. I said they taught us to give up our autonomy for their authority, and then they don't give us the authority. In the gist of what I'm saying. And so that ties into the sense of belonging, because as Shorty is ranting, she's talking about, nah, we can play the game. How can brown people can come over here and win? It's not about race. You're right. It's not about race. It's about authority, nigga. Those brown people that come over here, they come over here with the familial construct. They come over here able to buy pieces of community. They're able to come over here and play the game differently. It's like, my nigga, like, what do you think we, as black people, if we just got overcome and we stop thinking that it's all about race, we can play the game? And I said, so wait, do you really think we can win the game? I said, wait, do you really think this game can be won? That's one of the things that I asked her. She said, yeah. Wow. I said, so tell me what winning the game would look like. Conversation shifted. Then she wanted to tag me in other posts and stuff like that. And look at this page. No, answer the question. You tell me what winning look. Nobody can tell you what winning looks like because they're not winning the game. To win the game means that you can stand in a position where you don't have to play the motherfucker. As long as you have to play this game, you don't win. The fuck? I never understood how difficult it was. But the fact that she even conceptualized that, that reality and felt that if we just work harder, nigga, you don't get it. You don't understand what a system is. You don't understand what the game really motherfucking is. But then it got me to thinking. It's the sense of belonging. And we want senses of belonging. And that just opened up to where this episode is going to go. We want senses of belonging. And it's hard for us to accept rejection because we're focusing on our autonomy belonging to an authority. Rather, and which in turn makes us, on the inside, we're craving for our autonomy to belong somewhere. but we're programmed to go find where our authority can fit. We don't have any authority. This is beyond just the workforce and all of that shit. This is just a human reality. We're in a space that doesn't teach you to value and respect and appreciate your own autonomy. So when I say, when you get to the level of understanding of yourself and you have that acceptance or rejection, the division that you have between your 2 points is, do I accept my autonomy is to reject my authority. However, society has built us that if you reject your authority, you have no autonomy. So the reality is that we have to find a means to to develop authority with our autonomy. And that's what the quest is, that we don't know that that's what we're fighting for in our senses of belonging. We're not trying to fit into anywhere. We're not trying to be what everybody else wants us to be. We're trying to be autonomous in an authoritative world. And it just doesn't work. And because we're trying to be autonomous in an authoritative world, we find ourselves with these mental health issues because we're trying to achieve something that is not built right. Because with our autonomy, we're designed for collaborative connections. With our authority, we're designed for competitive connections. And your autonomy does not go with authority. But, your autonomy doesn't go with competition and authority. But before we dive heavy into that, because I feel it drifting off, go follow me on Instagram at _just_scene_. Be sure to check out my website at IamJustScene.com to get all things that are just seen. To all those who tip, donate, and sponsor to the podcast, you are greatly appreciated. To all those who would like to tip, donate, and sponsor to the podcast, you can do so by clicking the link in the description of the podcast. Not the episode, but the podcast itself. Cash App and PayPal are just fine. And you know the vibes. That's that for this, and that's this for that. So we're going to take a quick break. But when we come back, we're going to dive into... we're going to dive into belonging, the desire for autonomy. And don't forget to visit IamJustScene.com. There, you can get all things Just Seen. You want to add the So For Real series to your library? Visit IamJustScene.com. You want to learn how to master the markets for serious trading and investing? Visit IamJustScene.com. You want to get your hands on some exclusive merch like tees, hoodies, coffee mugs, hats, bags? Visit IamJustScene.com. Are you thinking about transitioning into the plant-based lifestyle? Visit IamJustScene.com. You ever want to just chat with Scene about anything from simple advice to mentorship? Visit IamJustScene.com. Anything and everything that is me, you can find at IamJustScene.com. So take a quick peek into my world to see why being just seen is nothing less but always more. Because you never really know what you need until you see it, and you will never see it unless you visit IamJustScene.com. All right. Welcome back. Oh. Without further ado, let's go ahead and get started on this motherfucker. All right. So as kids, right, we grow up and we're going through this life. We begin life autonomously. You feel me? And through certain things, we develop life autonomously, and then we get manipulated into authority based off the structures. I talk about this a lot. People be like, do you think such and such is a bad parent? Do you think... No, I don't think people are bad parents. I don't think intentionally. I don't think people are intentionally bad parents. I don't think people fail at parenting. I think people successfully apply a failing parenting model. That's why it's like I gotta justify it. As I did the best that I could. Yeah, with a failing model. You succeeded at failing. Like, and that becomes a harsh reality because a lot of people they only hear the failing part. Well, they hear the failing part and think of it as their fault. It's not your fault. Like, the shit wasn't designed to work. Like, you're following a model that did not work. Like, that's it. If I don't care what it is in life that you do, if you follow something that don't work, it ain't gonna work. It ain't just parenting. It's anything in life. If you do something that is detrimental, or if you do something that is not working, or if you follow something that is failing, you're gonna fail. Hence why that conversation even came about, because I'm like, y'all, when these niggas created the job force, they said we want a nation of workers, not thinkers. So if you a nation of workers, not thinkers, you cannot win that game because that game is created off of thought. Duh. Like the shit is different. But cycling it back. From the time we're kids, and this ties into authority as well too, our autonomy is tainted by one simple word or one simple phrase, or well, basically one simple word, and it's the word can. What two? Can and can't. And because your autonomy here is ability, but authority says permission. You feel what I'm saying? So the entire the senses of belonging that we're looking for is for authority to respect our autonomy, and it just doesn't happen. I was talking about this in a So for Conversations episode where I was saying, with respect, people what they think respect is, what they exhibit respect as is, yo, respect my authority. Nigga, fuck your authority. Like your authority don't mean shit because your authority is fleeting. You feel what I'm saying? But we don't want our autonomy respected because a lot of us don't even know. Like we get into a space where we want people to understand the real us. Let me let my guards down. Let me be the person that's this, that, and third. Well, you got to show your autonomy. I can't show my autonomy yet because they've been telling us since we was kids. Most of our autonomous shit is artistic expression. Now, this is not to say you were a painter or you could draw or make music. Like those just happens to be the quote unquote, wow. Those are the commercialized forms of art. Those are the commercialized forms of art. So that's why people think they're not an artist. An artist is no different than a scientist. I'm going to say it again. An artist is no different than a scientist. And I'm saying this because as an artist and a scientist, I can tell you it's the same shit. I didn't know it was the same shit because I always separated them because I was always told you can't do this. Like the art is creative science. Science is structured art. That's it. That's it, bro. Sis, all y'all. And we want to be able to be unbound and creative. Everybody is an artist at heart. If you can think, if you're a scientist, because art is what you feel. It's not always so much as what you know. Art is what you feel. Your science is what you know. Both of these things are derived in aspects of the brain because one side of the mind is emotion, the other side is thought. Come on. You feel me? They want your emotions fucked up so you can't create art. You feel what I'm saying? Because you think that the art that you create, there's the art that they allow you to create is art that doesn't need you to understand science to do it. You see what I'm saying? Well, really, no art needs science, but to increase and to establish the art in such a way that it becomes refined, you develop a science with it. You know more about it. Anybody can draw. Anybody can make music. Anybody can be an engineer. Anybody can, but the side parts of it, like when we look at engineers, when we look at like the science that it has to go in to be artistic with this shit, a lot of people don't want to put in, right? But our sense of belonging is what we're trying to crave, where we want our art to fit in the world. But we're also equally not taught to gain the science necessary to make our artwork. You feel what I'm saying? As melanated people, we're taught to put our art into entertainment. We spend copious amounts of time studying and learning and everything to be an art. Like there's a phrase that says you got to work twice as hard to get half as much as if you're black or whatever the case may be. And it's you have to have twice as much science for your art to be half as valued. That's disrespectful, but we allow it to be because what we looking for is a sense of belonging. As black people culturally, we want a sense of belonging in the sense that why does everybody hate us? It don't matter. Just accept their rejection. Fuck them. Fuck them. Because at the end of the day, your sense of belonging is tied to your desire for autonomy, not authority. And because we want because innately, and this is one of the fuck ups that happened in America that got us so fucked up now with the civil rights movement. Our desire and our need for autonomy clash with their authority. And we didn't know that we wanted equality in that. Sit with that. We wanted equality and authority and we wanted our autonomy to be respected. That's what we were saying, bitch, we human. They said, no, we're authoritative. We're not human. You're beneath us. And we wanted those two things to be aligned with each other because we didn't know that that's what we were doing. You dig what I'm saying? And in that, in order to have, they said, okay, so this is what they said, this is what the civil rights movement actually said and did. We will respect your autonomy if you give us all authority. You got to be civil. You got to be civil. You're not going to be human still. You got to be civil, but you give us the authority, we'll respect your autonomy. We'll stop calling you nigger. We'll put laws up if somebody lynches you and gets caught. We'll do certain shit to make you feel like we'll let you eat our unseasoned food. You feel what I'm saying? We'll do certain things to make sure your autonomy is okay. Just give us your authority. And what did we lose? We lost our businesses. We lost so much shit for our sense of belonging. Because the entire sense of belonging was to have our autonomy respected, not our authority. So now here we are, the autonomy already relinquished, and now we're given certain levels of authority that dilutes our autonomy even more. This is like we look at entertainers and shit as motherfuckers who sold they soul. You feel me? And it's like, what do you think you do when you give up your autonomy for authority? So this is what I was asking the young lady when she was commenting. I was like, so you'll play it. So I'm like, just let me hear me. Let me clarify what you're saying. You saying that you're willing to play this game, and you know what the game is. It's not a. I know it's not a race game. So since you want to take the race out of it, let's keep the race out of it. It's not a race game. It's about your authority versus your autonomy. You're willing to gain authority to give up your autonomy. Even more, you're not willing to be authoritative with your autonomy for the sake of the authority. You play the game and you dismantle it. You cannot break this system from. I need y'all niggas to listen to me, yo. Hear me well. Like, listen, come up closer. Listen, you cannot change this system. It is a system for a reason. The sole thought that you think you can change it is the reason why the system works. Your attempt to try to change it is how it functions so fluidly. Because it is built on the removal of your autonomy for the trade in authority. So it creates a system that anybody that follows you, you will convince them and convert them into giving up their autonomy for some authority that they really don't have. That's the game. That's the game. The motherfuckers who step into autonomy and maintain authority are the winners of the game. I'm not trying to brag. I'm not trying to toot my horn or anything like that, because it took me some time to get here to be able to be authoritative with my autonomy. This is one of the reasons why I've spoken with a lot of people, especially women when it comes to, over the time, they be like, yo, and I really didn't get what it was. Like, I understand it now. And I can't even be mad at the relationships that didn't work, because I understand our perspectives now. We're coming from two different spaces. I was always leading with autonomy while they wanted authority. I mentioned this in the last So conversations as well too. But in that conversation, it's like, yo, you still you. I know, because I don't have to play. I don't have to lie to make my authority look better. I love the way my autonomy looks. I don't give a fuck how it appears to you. I don't give a fuck what it does to you. I love the way my autonomy feels. And I've learned how to use my autonomy to develop authority. You see what I'm saying? Me, I've had a woman that say, like, yo, you use your intelligence to get women. No, I don't. Women like intelligent motherfuckers, and I don't mind showcasing my shit. Like, the fuck is you talking about? You feel me? I'm not smart for play, nigga. Who the fuck does that? Authoritative motherfuckers. I don't just sound intelligent. I am. You feel what I'm saying? I don't articulate well. You feel me? I'm not the motherfucker who just gonna talk a good game. No, I'm really telling you the game I'm playing. This is 100% autonomous shit. And in the autonomy, I developed my authority. And now it's like, wow, how do you have that authority and I couldn't have it? It's not authority. I don't give a fuck about authority. I give a fuck about autonomy. Because again, cycling it back, I reached the point where I've accepted rejection. Because in my quest and on my journey for my senses of belonging, I realized that the only way that I will feel comfortable in this world is as myself. That's the only way everybody feels comfortable in this world is as they self. But don't nobody know how to be themselves. We learn how to be the version of ourselves that gains authority. That's dangerous because you'll do some hoe shit after a while. Like people be thinking that hoes is just respectfully bitches who stand on the corner and throw pussy out, or niggas that get paid to sling dick. It's the same shit, but that's what they think hoes are. Mm-mm. A hoe is a garden tool for one, but it's also any this is how I'm defining this shit. It's any entity who trades their authority, their autonomy for authority. Now I get it. Oh, but nah, ain't no authority in hoes and shit. You be surprised. You'll be surprised. Imagine what level of authority you have when you consider the bottom of the barrel in humanity. Or when I like to use the women in the hoes in the aspect for this. You're called the Jezebel. You're called the bottom of the barrel, but you can make the highest of the high bend to your will. Look at the politicians. Look at the motherfuckers who like nigga, they get caught up with hoes, bro. They get caught up paying hoes. Paying hoes. You feel what I'm saying? So who's really giving up? Like they gave up. It's a sad game because they give up their autonomy. They trade their autonomy for authority, and they develop such an authority that gives them shame. Like nobody looks at them as humans. Oh, that's a hoe. That's a bitch. That's this and a third. But they can make a motherfucker bend to their will. OnlyFans is only successful right now because women gave up their autonomy with their vagina for the authority with their vagina. Niggas just mad they got to pay for it now. But guess what? Niggas is still paying for it. Niggas is still paying for it. You see what I'm saying? Certain shit you have to be autonomous with, certain shit you have to be authoritative with. But either way, when you willing to trade your autonomy for authority, you a hoe. You a hoe. And when we look at the senses of belonging, our desire to belong into something that makes us give up our autonomy for it makes us a hoe. This is not the shit on nobody. I'm just telling y'all the real. You feel me? This the profane side of the profundity. You feel what I'm saying? That degree, like think about like I went to a HBCU. I graduated, forensic biology. When like as I got closer and closer to degrees, as I got closer and closer to the goal, as I got closer and closer, I got further and further away from who I really am. My autonomy now is at a point where it's like my autonomy is like it's because it supersedes my authority. The places I'm supposed to, I don't worry about belonging because I know where I'm supposed to be. I don't focus on where I'm trying to belong because I know where I'm supposed to be. I'm always gonna belong where I'm supposed to be. But that's a reality that you can't really come to until you have developed autonomy within yourself. But you don't develop autonomy into yourself because till you can accept and reject what you can learn to accept your autonomy and reject your authority. You can't. It's hard to reject your authority because your authority is what pays your bills. Your authority is what allows you to survive. Doesn't allow you to thrive. Your autonomy is going to make you thrive and it's going to be fruitful and multiply. But your authority is what makes you survive. And you're and we in a status driven society. It's been that way. You feel me? Motherfuckers look at the way you dress, the way you walk, the way you talk, the car you drive, all of the shit. And if you feel like you feel like you don't have status. And because of the illusion and the fact that we don't use the right words all the time, we also think we don't have autonomy. You're a nobody. Like imagine being told that you are a nobody. When I was in middle school, I think I called somebody a nobody before. I didn't know, I was young, so I wasn't saying it in a way. Well, I was saying it in a disrespectful way, but I was saying it ignorantly. I'm saying you're a nobody according to authority, because that's what world we in. But you gonna hear it as I'm saying you're a nobody based off autonomy. You see what I'm saying? Because cycling it back to what I was talk about in the beginning, when we're children, we don't know that we internalize can as ability as a versus to permit as versus permission. So when an authority figure says you can't do something, it's according to permission. But when you hear it, it's according to autonomy and you think it's your ability. You see what I'm saying? How many limitations do we have over ourselves because of an authoritative figure remove the permission when we still had the autonomy and the ability to do it? I'm gonna let you sit with that and breathe a little bit. Most of our lives are predicated off an authority figure who couldn't complete and gain their own authority. So they told you you didn't have any. You see what I'm saying? Some of our limitations are created because people that gave us advice were jaded by their failures. In order to advise somebody, you have to have experience with it. If you failed, you don't have the experience. Like, you see what I'm saying? If you failed, you don't have the experience to give somebody advice. But we take advice from people who failed and they're jaded by their failures. So they tell you you can't do it because they couldn't, because they know they're saying your authority doesn't supersede mine. And that may be true by tenure, by age, but my autonomy could have eclipsed yours when I came into this motherfucker. My autonomy could have eclipsed yours when I came into this motherfucker. So when people say, oh, this person has an old soul, you've been here before. My autonomy is present. Even deeper than that. Like, it's even deeper than being here, but my autonomy is present and it has not been tainted by my authority. Some of our autonomies are so tainted by our authority that we don't even know who the fuck we are anymore. You feel what I'm saying? Because of all of the limitations that were imposed upon us. You can't do this. You can't do this. I was listening to a dude named Jim Rohn, and he was saying by 4 years old, a child has heard no 16,000 times. 16,000 times. Bruh, sit with that. By 4 years old, a child has heard no 16,000 times. That's just the word no. Let's not even count the variations of how many negative connotations they've heard. No and can't, you don't, won't, like shouldn't, no. How many times has someone's authority attacked your autonomy? You feel me? I seen this post one day and it said, if you see your child doing something dangerously, if you see your child doing something dangerous, carefully leave them alone. Their autonomy is present. And as long as you keep your autonomy present, you're more attuned to using your mind. See, when we get caught up in authority, we stop thinking. We don't even know that we stop thinking. We just act and we just perform. You feel me? Like, think about it. Motherfuckers act right. Nigga, no, be right. The fuck? Like, you feel me? This is how you can get into a space where a motherfucker can tell you, it's do as I say, not as I do. Follow my authority, not my autonomy. Because I really don't have, because I'm low-key admitting I don't have autonomy if I can't even follow my own authority. You dig what I'm saying? And this is what the fuck we're trying to belong to. You see, when we go into the school system, this is what it's molding us into. It's molding us into status. It's molding us into authority. But it's more so molding us to say, hey, your autonomy has to die. But we're gonna make you try to find a place where your autonomy fits. That's why, with kids, that's why they always say, you got to be careful because children are so impressionable. They're autonomous and they're innocent. So they don't know, because they're innocent and they're autonomous, they don't know that I'm trying to belong somewhere that's going to dilute me and restrict who I am. You feel what I'm saying? One of the things about my podcast, one of the things about my brand, what Pala Cafe is autonomy. That's what I've developed it into. Over the years, I've let y'all see me develop my autonomy and walk away from authority at the same time. Challenge the shit, go through the fire against authority because I know what my autonomy is. You see what I'm saying? One of the things that really get us is when people attack us based off of authority. And it comes into our senses of belonging. You feel me? Oh, you a child. You just stand the third. Autonomously, I'm an adult, homie. Autonomously, I'm older than you. Autonomously, you feel me? You need to sit down and shut the fuck up. but because of authority. Like we get so wrapped up in this person. It's like I've heard it quite a lot growing up, just in our community. It's like you'll say that's still your mom, or that's still your dad, or that's still your aunt, that's still your uncle, that's still your brother, that's still your sister. Why is that never applied the other way? You know why it's not applied the other way? Because we're speaking from this authority as them being sibling, auntie, cousin, aunt, job. Like this authority should supersede your autonomy. Mm-mm. Mm-mm. Your title becomes irrelevant to me when you do some sucker shit. And this is where we blur lines with senses of belonging and things like this. We blur lines with forgiveness and reconciliation. This is why I'm solid on the fact that I don't have to reconcile with you after I forgive you. And this is why I also tell y'all, and I understand the definition, that forgiveness is understanding why pain was inflicted. I don't give a fuck what your authority says. You did some wrong. I don't give a fuck what your authority is saying. Your autonomy is what did the shit to me. Your authority is apologizing. Your autonomy did it though. So if your autonomy, this is why they say a true apology comes with changed behavior. If my authority did the shit and I'm apologizing for my authority, I can't. And if my autonomy did it, but I'm apologizing for my authority, I'm not changing. I just want you to reconcile. No, why? Because we've been taught that since we were kids. Most of the people in our culture, they don't even apologize. We just start talking again. You feel me? Nah, nigga, that's what's fucking us up. Because our senses of belonging for that. Now, this is when it becomes, and this is just not just familial shit. This is all shit. It's when it comes to you have to understand yourself. A part of learning to understand yourself is learning, yo, I've never been autonomous. And my sense of belonging has always been to put my autonomy in an authoritative state, or a state of authority that gets respected, that garners this, that, and the third. Your autonomy your autonomy is not about being loved. It's not about being respected. It's about being free. When you are free, those things will come. The better you are at exhibiting your autonomy, the things that will naturally give you respect, the things that will naturally love you will come to you. You do not have to go to them. You feel what I'm saying? But because we're looking at a sense of belonging, we have to go, quote unquote, when we first go to school, they said, go make friends. Nigga, how? Nobody teaches you how to make friends. You don't make friends. You show yourself and let who's supposed to, like, one of the biggest pet peeves, and this is what kills our autonomy from the jump, is calling somebody weird. Anybody who doesn't follow authority or sits within the status or copies or walks to the train of everybody else, oh, that person's weird. When you hear you're weird enough, you close your autonomy off. You don't show it. I've been called weird all my life. I've been told that I do strange shit. No, I don't. I'm like, nothing that I do is strange. It may not make sense to you, and that's cool. That's cool. It's perfectly logical in my mind. You feel what I'm saying? It is perfectly logical in my mind. So much so that by the time you actually see it and can comprehend it, I don't even want to do it no more. You see what I'm saying? It's going to be so far ahead of you that you're going to look like, oh, damn. Yeah, you thought I was strange. You thought I was weird. I was me the whole time. This is who I am. This is who I am, not who I have to be to fit in this cultic ass society. Everybody wants to follow. Everybody don't really believe that they in a cult, bro. Like, y'all niggas in a cult, homie. I ain't in no cult. All right, nigga. It looked like I'm in a cult because I'm practicing my autonomy and doing what the fuck I want to do. But I can tell you're in a cult because you're doing what everybody else is doing. Who are you really? This was when I was saying, like, people say shit like, that's not my ministry. That shows you have no autonomy. You know what your ministry ain't, but you don't know what it is. Where's your autonomy at to know what the fuck you supposed to be doing? You see what I'm saying? I know where my autonomy sits. I know where, like, and the autonomy is not hard to figure out. I know I'm supposed to be talking about belonging, but it works and it ties into this because that's what we're using to belong. And we're blurring the lines with the status, with the authority, with the people, with the cliques. So you end up compromising who the fuck you really are. I was watching an episode of the Boondocks. Riley's autonomy. Riley it was an impressionable kid because Riley fought for authority. You feel me? He wanted to be a real nigga so bad. Nigga, real niggas ain't autonomous. I don't think people really understand that. As a bona fide, reformed real nigga, real niggas are not autonomous. They're authoritative. And they're authoritative to the pocket in which they can be authoritative. You feel me? They're only authoritative against that. They become bullies after a while. But real niggas are authoritative they're not autonomous. One of the marks of you knowing when you can truly walk in your autonomy is accountability and responsibility. Authority intentionally teaches us. Authority intentionally puts us in a space where we're not responsible or accountable for the shit that we do. A motherfucker could tell you, and this is one thing, like, I know everybody with a parent that's gone through this shit. You can get in trouble because you forget to remind your parent about something that was important to them. I told you to remind me to do this. I got to remind you. So that means it's already out of your mind. You're taking that burden of thinking about it off of you. And you're putting it on me. I'm 6. I'm about to watch Batman. You gonna tell me to remind you of something that's important. All right. How important is it? It doesn't matter. Just remind me. All right. Something that I've learned is that what's important to you is not a priority to me. And vice versa. What's important to me is not a priority to somebody else because our autonomies are different. You see what I'm saying? But because we do that, and then we operate solely from the spaces of authority, we lose their accountability and responsibility to where we can tell a motherfucker, we can blame somebody else we can use our authority to blame somebody else for some shit that we were supposed to be responsible for. It's wild as fuck when you really, really think about it. But when you really sit and think about it, you realize, oh, this is all by design. We're going to start you young. We're going to start you as children. And then we're going to start this is why when they say shit they be like, well, teaching it, they be like, yo, we get these kids and they bad. It starts in the home. It do start in the home. The indoctrination starts in the home because it's authority diminishing autonomy in the early stages to send the diluted autonomy into another space to develop authority. And that authority changes every single year. And they call it peer pressure. But peer pressure is really only defined by the people who are popular. This is why popular people are what they are. You follow our status. You do and we don't even know it. As a motherfucker growing up as one of the cool motherfuckers, you find out how many cool motherfuckers didn't really know what the fuck they was doing. They just said, hey, if we all do the same shit and we agree on it, we cool. What? Okay, let's follow it. You feel me? And then our senses of belonging, this is what we do. So they teach you have to look a certain way. Oh, I'm not cute like that. Boom. Instantly, I'm out. My autonomy can't be there. If I'm not tall enough, my autonomy is gone. Boom, I'm out. You feel me? We think the relationship pool is fucked up right now. The relationship pool been fucked up. It'll never be good because everything is based off authority, not autonomy. Shorty, you 6'3", and you might be good with that 5'2" man because y'all autonomies go together, but you don't want to do it because your authority. You feel what I'm saying? Now, I'm not saying go date a 6, do that or whatever the case may be. But at the end of the day, it's all about autonomy. Now, even switching with that, why is it that shorter dudes want these taller women and shit like that? Oh, it's the conquest. Authority, nigga. You feel me? Authority. But now, segueing it into our senses of belonging. We sit in our culture, society and our culture is created off of find a way to belong. Find a way to belong. You see what I'm saying? So now, what is your career path? What are you going to be when you grow up? I want to be this. Why? That's not what your autonomy is. I always tell people this. Stop asking your babies what they want to be when they grow up. Ask them who they are right now. It's motherfuckers that'll tell you right now that they're proficient in jobs, right? The midlife crisis. Niggas wonder why. Why do you have a midlife crisis? You got 2 of them in your life. Before you die, you have 2 of them. And then you have that final moment where you're gonna have regret or doubt of what the fuck happened, because it's ultimately 3. But you got 2 fucking midlife crises. And I'm gonna tell you how they actually play out from a numerological perspective, astrological, whatever. From a numerology perspective, you have three life cycles. You have as well, you ultimately have, you can have as many as six, right? Depending on how long you live. But every 28 and a half years, you go through a phase of life. So we have three because of the way life expectancy plays out. But if we live to 120 years, we'll have four. If we live to 160 years, we'll have five. You see what I'm saying? But when we look at where we are, we currently have three. The first one is from, now watch how this shit plays out. The first one goes from birth to 28 years old, right? The second one goes from 29 to 56 years old. The last one goes from 56 to, it'll be what, 84 or 94? 84, 84. It'll be 84 years. Of course, life expectancy niggas don't live that far. But if we go into another one, then you have that 84 till that next life cycle. That's the final one. Each of these life cycles is a complete point. Now, because of, it's a full circle moment, but we start from birth to maturation, then we start over again. So you have the first phase, which is quote unquote your childhood. Your second stage, which is from 50, which is 28, 29 to 56 is your adulthood. Then you have your elderhood. Then you have, deification, all of these other things that you keep going on and on and on if you live long enough. When we consider, now that's just those cycles. You can look this up, go to numerology. I recommend reading a book called A Numbers in You by Lloyd Strayhorn or some shit like that. His first name Lloyd, I know. That is one of the best numerology books that I've ever studied and I've ever read. There's a couple other ones, but that one would really break down the actual cycles, right? I think it's called the Rosicrucian cycle or some shit like that. But those are it's the life cycles. So you go from birth to 28, 29 to 56, 57 to 84. All right. The second one is astrology. Astrology, you have what's called a Saturn return. Saturn returns occur every 29 years. Where Saturn is when you're born, in 29 years, you're going to go through a cycle that puts you back there again. 29 years again, it's going to go down the way. Me and my mom, we have the same Saturn return. I was 29 years, she was 29 years old when I was born. Our Saturn returns are the same. We go through them shits at the same motherfucking time. But she don't know she's going through a Saturn return. I do, so I prepare differently, but I can't tell her because, it is what it is. I let it rock. But when we're our Saturn return is now when it goes from it being about your childhood, adulthood, and, elderhood and all that, but it's about the cycle of a full completion from your birth to your first run. The reason why I'm mentioning those is because when we look at two very important pieces, I mentioned this in So Frail 3, I think, or maybe 2. I talked about it before. If I wrote it in the book, it's out there and I've given it. When we look at two important pieces in our life, the rebellious teenage phase and our midlife crisis, what ages are those? They're smack dab in the middle of the life cycles. If the first cycle goes from birth to 28, our rebellious teenage phase happens between what? 14 to 16 years old. Our midlife crisis happens about what? 42 to 45 years old. You don't say. I do say, nigga, because they say, and it's right there, because those two moments are when your autonomy can't be contained. You followed authority for so long and you keep coming to the realization this is bullshit. Your autonomy is not satisfied. We would not have a rebellious teenage phase. We would not go through a midlife crisis if our autonomy was actually moving through the life cycles correctly. But because of this, they understand how well this works and is wired within us that create the education system. So when these moments happen, they're at their most influential and their most impressionable spaces. Think about it. You start to quote unquote come into your own between the ages of 14 and 15. That's when you feel like you found it, your clique, your who you gonna hang with and shit. Whether it's be good or bad. That's those your niggas. Those your bitches. That's who the fuck you rocking with. You feel me? Then you grow. Now, when you have your second phase of life, those motherfucking girls, like that shit is in your 40s and shit. Like that's when quote unquote men are established. That's when women hit their peak. That's when so many different variations of shit, because they use the stars and the numbers and all of this shit to make sure they know how you're aligned. It's all cyclic. Now, if we can put all the people in the world on the same fucking cycle, we got them. We know exactly what niggas is going to do at any given moment. But bringing it back, when you're looking at your sense of belonging, your autonomy peeks through when you're in your rebellious teenage phase. The reason why it's rebellious is because you're bucking against the authority that's failed you. You can't tell it that it's failed you because you don't, and y'all, the conversation is off because it's your autonomy speaking to their authority. Watch your mouth. You gonna respect me? You're not even respecting my autonomy. My autonomy is not comfortable here. Every day I gotta go to this motherfucking school where my autonomy is violated, and you're telling me I gotta have a tough skin. Your authority is telling me to compromise my autonomy, and we wonder why we can't comprehend why kids do stupid shit. I never had a chance to develop my autonomy, so this shit seems stupid to you because it goes against authority. It allows my autonomy to remain. But in my sense of belonging, now I have authority too. Once you get authority in an oppressive world, nigga, you lose your shit. You lose your shit. You start doing stupid shit just because you can. Because you got a little bit of authority. But it's largely because of the senses of belonging that you wanted. You wanted to belong. Everybody wants to belong, but what we're really craving, they're teaching us that we want to belong to authority, but we have to be in autonomy. Being and belonging are not the same things. Belonging is that long desire to be included or be a part of something that your authority can have appeasement in. Autonomy just bees. When you're in a space where you feel that I'm dope here, but you can't be dope there, you are not in your autonomy. You are in your authority. You feel what I'm saying? There's very few people, well, not very few. Everybody really. A lot of people now have got to see me in my autonomous space, but there's very few people in my past who've seen me in my autonomy. So when I did autonomous shit, they like, I didn't know. For example, making music. It blows a lot of people's minds how good I am with the shit because it's like, wow, your authority says that you shouldn't even be able to do this because you're smart. you ain't a thug. You ain't I'm all of that shit. But the way it's like, you went to school, you this, that, and the third, and it's like, no, my autonomy says, see, you missed the reality. My autonomy says that I'm a speaker. My autonomy says that I use my voice. Because I'm autonomous, I can use my voice however I want to. I can use it in the form of podcast. I can use it in the form of music. But it ties back in. Now I'm glad I got to this part finally, because it ties back into the art and the science. Our belonging is because our sense of belonging is because we're trying to find an art without learning a science. Specifically, the science of ourself. Science simply means to know. Don't look at it as always, oh, it's chem. Like they label these things science so that way you think that that's what science is. Biology. When I say science, what does your association go with? Biology, chemistry, physics, all of these different things. When I say art, what did you go to? You feel me? The reality is that they're one and the same. Art is how you feel science. You feel what I'm saying? Science is how you think about art. Nigga, that's it. Now, in our senses of belonging, we all crave an art. We have an art within us that needs to come out. But we have to find where we can be comfortable in that. You feel me? Our autonomy is always telling us, hey, look, bro, you have an art. You have something like when people be like, yo, I'm just naturally good at this shit. Nigga, that's because you bypass the science and you can exhibit the art. All you keep hearing is get into the markets, but do you trade or do you invest? Should you do stocks, Forex, crypto, or NFTs? My personal answer is not a single one if you don't know how to read a chart. Without knowing how to read a chart, you end up giving all your money to those who do. Do you know what a candle is? Do you know the pocket of activity? Do you know the difference between market direction and market control? If you answer no at least once, you might want to learn how to read a chart first. Learning how to read a chart will let you know if you should trade or invest and if you should do stocks, forex, crypto, and or NFTs. It will also let you know if this is even for you or not. So visit IamJustSeen.com to learn how to read charts with my Mastering the Market course, ebooks, and webinars today. The world is changing. The question is, will you adapt with it? LeBron James. LeBron James. Y'all remember that public commercial? LeBron James? But nah, LeBron just passed 40,000 points. You know what I'm saying? It was a couple of days ago, but by the time y'all hear this and all of that shit, I'm just going to say just because if we go years down the line, it's like still in the same pocket. But LeBron just passed 40,000 points. It's wild because that's the most points that anybody has ever scored in fucking NBA. That's the most points anybody will ever score in the NBA. They say, they was like, when they were talking about it on Gil's Arena and shit, they say, yo, nigga, literally, every time he scores, he breaks the record again. It's like, damn. That's monumental like a motherfucker, but I don't think we understand that shit. Like, a lot of people are like, why is LeBron? LeBron is LeBron because of his autonomy. Like, he just so happened, this is his world. I don't care what nobody say. You can put authority. Oh, he ain't got enough rings. He ain't done this, that, and the third. You can't take the autonomy away from it. When LeBron finishes, he will have done what nobody will ever be able to do again. And I know niggas like, nah, nigga, somebody gonna come and break it. No, nigga, no. Hear me well. His autonomy was so fluid and so on point that the records that he's broken and he continues to break will never be able to be passed again. Especially scoring. The reason why LeBron came in at high school. They've already taken that out of the game. You see what I'm saying? You have to do at least a year in college. Nigga, you need every year to beat that man. When they broke down the score, somebody broke it down, and they said, in order to have 40,000 points, you would have to play 21 seasons. In 21 seasons, you would have to play 60 games and average 30 points per game. That means you have to come out of high school. You can't come out of high school no more. You can't. This record will never be broken. That's some autonomous shit. And in the autonomy, that's what people hate. Because there's never going to be an authority that can overtake it. Jordan was the authority. Kobe was an authority. Kareem was an authority in their respective rights. But what LeBron has done is certified autonomy. You see what I'm saying? Like it's levels to it because that's him. You got people that are like, he was born to do that. Like, I don't want to use stereotype the shit on people like, but yo, LeBron was born to be that. There's no other, like, you don't do that and not be made for it. But it wasn't so much of him being made for it. This was LeBron's autonomy. That's his world. You can't lose in your world. And I get it. Well, he only got 4 championships. No, you're missing the whole point, bro. Look at what he stands. When this shit is all said and done, when this shit is literally all said and done, the more players that come in the league, the more players that exit. There's only going to be 3 motherfuckers talked about: LeBron, Kobe, and Jordan. And LeBron will be above Jordan and Kobe when it's all said and done. The rings won't matter once he's not in the game no more. When you can come into the league, you can get 7 championships past Jordan. You can get 5 championships past Kobe. You can get 2 jerseys retired. You see what I'm saying? You will never be able to score 40,000 points. And he's still scoring. He's still fucking scoring, bro. That's autonomy. That's autonomy. You're doing you. But in our senses of belonging, we get tied into doing what makes everybody else happy, what makes everybody comfortable around us. Your autonomy will never comfort somebody because their autonomy is realizing that they're in the cage. That's what people don't understand about our senses of belonging. That's really what a lot of people don't understand about our senses of belonging. Our senses of belonging are the cages that make us feel important. Like with autonomy, I'm learning there is no like there's people who always say, yo, you step out of your comfort. I don't have a comfort zone, nigga. Fuck. Like you have a comfort zone in your sense of belonging because you're walking into an authoritative space where you can find a spot to fit where you can be seen and not be seen. I be saying this shit all the time and they be thinking I'm being funny and I'm not. I'm like, yo, you're seen, I'm felt. That's why even when I'm gone, I'm there. Like you have to be seen, you have to show out, you have to put yourself in a space where your authority is present. My essence is felt. When I leave this motherfucker, y'all gonna remember me, homie. When I walk into this motherfucker, y'all gonna feel me, homie, because my autonomy is there. You feel what I'm saying? My autonomy is there. And when you're looking for that sense of belonging and you find that sense of belonging, you walked into your cage. I don't give a fuck how you decorate it. I don't give a fuck how good it looks. You feel me? And you know you in the cage when your motherfucking midlife crisis hit. I was fortunate enough because I've been rapping since I was 12. I've been making music since I was 12. I never knew I wasn't in my autonomy. Because I was free to think and ask questions and do the shit that I wanted to do, I was never unaware that I wasn't in my autonomy. I just so happened to grow up with hood niggas. I grew up in the streets, but they didn't because because my brother's authority, it allowed me to fight and strengthen myself and shit like that. My autonomy was able to be protected as I walked. So like I said, I'll be motherfucking, you know what I'm saying, with my hood niggas and shit with a pocket full of Pokemon cards. We smoking weed and I got Pokemon cards in my goddamn pocket, bro. Literally twisting up and I'm twisting up and I got a Mewtwo sitting right in my fucking pocket. A Mewtwo, a Charizard, and a Lugia, and I'm thinking about trading for a Blastoise, a Zapdos, and an Articuno, and we about to smoke some motherfucking weed right now, nigga. My autonomy and my authority always blended well. I didn't know it though. But it got to a point where my authority started to have to erase my autonomy because when I'm in school and somebody, you can't keep responding to everything like that. You niggas can't keep triggering me like that. What the fuck? Like, you feel what I'm saying? Your autonomy is not, and sometimes it's not even, it's the fact that somebody else's authority wants to challenge your autonomy because they think that their autonomy is challenging your authority. You see what I'm saying? And we grow up like this. We literally grow up like this. Motherfuckers be like, oh, I was corny in school. You wasn't corny, you hid your autonomy. And you was trying to hang with the wrong motherfuckers. The people that you thought was cool was corny. They was lame. Like, you don't find that out until damn, homie, in high school, you was the man, homie. All you had was authority and you ain't got no autonomy. That's why motherfuckers is 40, 50 years old still reliving their glory days. You feel me? When you are living in autonomy, you can give all you got, and then when it's done, it's done. There's no, I don't have to keep. Kobe is a perfect example of that. When Kobe finished the game, he said, "I'm done. Now, you're not gonna do commentary, nah, nigga. I'll coach my daughter and write books. I don't give a fuck, bro. I'm not. I don't. I'm done with basketball. My autonomy said, hey, play it till you can't play no more, and I did. I'm done, nigga. Fuck is you talking about? You feel what I'm saying? Because that's what autonomy is. Autonomy is a different level of power because autonomy is true strength. If you read So Frail 2 and you see how I broke down power and strength. I know power is the ability to define phenomena. Power then leads to authority. It's the ability to define phenomena, make it act in a desired way. Strength, on the other hand, is the ability to pose resistance until either that resistance stops or the strength gives out. That's autonomy. When people be like, I got a deep will, or I could just like, no, sometimes your autonomy is the spark that keeps you going through the circumstances that you don't even give a fuck what the fuck is going on around you. I'm gonna get this done. When you have a sense of belonging, if you can't get it done, you walk away. Because if it doesn't give me any authority, it's not for me. We really live a whole reality where we think if we think success is gaining authority. over somebody else or something else. And this is why a lot of people, when all else fails, they have kids. I'm going to have authority over something. I'm going to have authority over something. And then the worse your upbringing was, the less authority your parent felt they had on the inside. Parents, however. The harder your upbringing was, the less authority your parent really had. That's why they exerted it over you. This whole gentle parenting thing, the fact that you got to call being autonomous with an autonomous being gentle parenting, it shows that there's a whole different problem. I got beaten. I turned out fine. No, you didn't, nigga. Your stupid ass. That's why you now exert authority over your kids. That's why you now only put yourself in positions where you feel authoritative. You know how many motherfuckers can be in a whole world where they can actually learn something new, but they master the market. One of the things that I had to learn to stop doing was reducing my prices, as I always say, because my autonomy was what was presenting it. Like, yo, like my thing was this: the autonomy is low. You pay for it. You come into the course. You join the E-way and shit. We teach you. You get right. You get the fuck on. But a lot of people wanted authority in it and not the full autonomy. And I realized that when it was, what should I take today, nigga? Whatever the fuck you want to take. Where you want to put your money at, or where you want it to grow. You feel me? But you got to know how to do that. So when your authority is there, and when you've been looking for that sense of belonging and you tied it all the time to authority, you're looking at it as, if I pay, like, this is why poverty is painful. Like, people will only act on certain shit that they know can change their life when it's a cheap price. Because I'm not basing it off the autonomy of what I can do for myself. I'm basing it off the win or loss of, can I still be am I willing to pay for the authority? Mm-mm. I'm saying that to say this because, like, the autonomous decision to say, I'm never dropping my prices again. Well, what if people don't join? Hey, they join when they want to. I don't care. Like, I'm going to continue to do what I need to do because I am not necessarily banking on them joining the courses. It's there because I can do it. You feel what I'm saying? I really do this shit. So I'm not banking on you got to come join me. And this is no shot to anybody who's still like, I get it. We want that. But when I learned the difference between autonomy, everybody who is in EWE now, they're autonomous people. I didn't have to convince them. I didn't have to coerce them. I didn't have to tell them, yo, you should join this. I didn't have to use my authority. I showed them the autonomy. Is your autonomy going to use it? That's one of the things that I had to learn how to come into as an entrepreneur the most, is the autonomy side of it. When you are in a job, you have that sense of belonging of, the sense of belonging that develops your authority. Let me go fuck with this setup. Like the shorty was saying, learn to play the game. The more you play the game, the further you get from autonomy. You don't like start a business, try to run a side hustle, or whatever the case may be, and you'll see how autonomous you ain't. Because what you're going to try to do is bank on your authority. You feel what I'm saying? I love the fact that when I wrote Hitting It Raw, and Hitting It Raw is one of the most autonomous things I've ever created. The whole entire brand. But when I wrote it, people was like, this ain't professional. It don't matter, nigga. This is autonomous. I don't give a fuck about the authority in it. You should have wrote it more professionally. You should have did this. You should have wrote it. If you feel like what I created needs to be created differently, create it. You feel me? I've had people tell me, yo, you should do a second part to Hitting It Raw, or niggas say you should do a second part to Hitting It Raw and include this, then no, why don't you write you a plant-based book? You can't use Hitting It Raw, but why don't you do it? Well, nah, because I don't know what you know. All right, well, shut the fuck up. I did what I was supposed to do. I did what I wanted to do. I don't want to do another part. You feel me? This is when you get to people living through you. That sense of belonging comes in that reward. It also comes when people are trying to live through you. Because now you go through life filtering. Your authority is now granted to you, and your sense of belonging is guided by, how do I make people live through me? I'm always there for them. Like, people are like, oh, I'm an empath. I take on people's shit. You choose to, nigga, because you're looking for a sense of belonging. I ain't. I ain't. I be having sessions with people and they be like, yo, how can I just, because it ain't my shit. I always say this, like when people be like, people emotionally dump on you and this, that, and the third, and you take it. I don't take nobody's shit on. Autonomously, that's not mine. Now, if I'm trying to be an authority, I'm like, yo, let me take that off your shoulders and this, that, and the third. That's your shit. Mm. But you feel me? I'm saying that because it's like, in the senses of belonging, you get caught up in shit like that because everything is solely based off authority. So you be wanting to do some shit. And this is where jealousy comes in too. Jealousy is love and hate at the same time. Jealousy is simultaneously when your authority and your autonomy is clashing for what somebody's doing. Because your autonomy knows you can do it, but your authority has already prevented you from doing it. So you mad. You think you mad at them. You mad at yourself. You're not even mad at yourself for real. You mad at your statuses. You mad at your authority and your autonomy clashing. Your authority and your autonomy clashing with each other because you had a sense of belonging that you wanted to follow something. So, like the shorty was saying when we was talking about the video, she was like, "It's not a race game. You got to learn how to play this game. Do you know what the fucking game is? If you're telling me you can win this motherfucker and you're willing to go that, I can't fuck with you because you are not autonomous. And if you are not autonomous, you'll do some sucker shit to belong in a position to win this game." And that can very well violate me. Hence the civil rights fucking movement. The desire to have an authority in an oppressive world is what makes us give up our autonomy. If you notice, black people can't be black people. Like you notice during the civil rights movement, right? Just think about this shit, right? We couldn't wear our hair a certain way, and all like the 70s was so beautiful, man. Motherfuckers was wearing their afros and shit. Motherfuckers was autonomous. Niggas hated it. The crack epidemic was a response to autonomy, my nigga. Don't nobody want to address that because we look at, oh, this is Snowfall. Oh, this is the big rich town and all this shit selling crack and this, that, and third. Crack was introduced to erase autonomy. And it erased autonomy. The final, like, what they did with crack would never, you feel me? You feel me? That shit's heartbreaking because it erased the autonomy, right? But it was in a sense of belonging because what was crack? A rich man's night, a rich man's high, but a poor man's nightmare. Crack was a rich man's high and a poor man's nightmare. Because in the sense of belonging, with the authority and the status, it was so fucking high. And then, of course, the sellers, the dealers and shit, oh, now y'all get mandatory minimums, nigga. Bam, bam, bam. We taking y'all off the whole board. Taking y'all off the whole board. You feel me? Because our senses of belonging, because we're kept out of spaces of authority, we're going to find a way to have authority in some way, shape, or form. But they're like, nah, we're going to control it the whole way through. Keep trying to belong. Keep fucking our women. Keep thinking that you're actually doing something to us. You're not. You feel me? But keep striving for that because of your sense of belonging. Everybody that know that was like, yo, go to school, get a good education. Like, I'm dead ass serious right now. And I mean it in the most modest way possible, if modesty can be done. Did you succeed at what you encouraged me to do? I'm being dramatic with that shit. And you know what I'm saying? This is everybody who encouraged me to go to college, get the good education, do this, that, and the third, and this, that, and the third. And they're mad that my autonomy said, this ain't gonna work, homie. You're gonna figure something out. You're gonna do it right. You're gonna do what you need to do. But at the end of the day, you feel me? Because the more you keep trying to belong, the more you're gonna lose who you are. You see what I'm saying? Like niggas is really a lot of it too is our religious tenets. A lot of motherfuckers is literally insane because they have erased their very upbringing that led them to this point for the sake of status and authority and some shit. Now people like, yo, Sing, you can't keep addressing religion all the motherfucking time. Yes, I can. Yes, I can. Because the only reason why you follow religion was to diminish your authority. Diminish your authority and your autonomy. I ain't never met a religious motherfucker a day in my life who was simultaneously autonomous and had authority. You gave both of those up for that. You feel me? You become ashamed of your past and the upbringing that you had. Like, you know that you're creating the image and likeness of a deity, and they formed you in the womb. They knew you in the womb before you even born. You think that they put you in those situations not to be whatever it was that you just came out to be. So you hide and dilute that, which means your autonomy starts. The thing about autonomy is the positions and the conditions that we're growing up in. Our autonomy can take it. Our authority can. Our autonomy can. That's why we take it. That's why we get through it and we like, yo, it's just life. Like some people, once you get to that point, it's just life. But now when you try to see it through your authority and you try to erase it, now I'm gonna have authority. I grew up in poverty, so I'm gonna get away from poverty. I'm not gonna understand poverty. I'm not gonna use my autonomy to never go back to poverty again and make sure motherfuckers never go into it. But I'm gonna try to take this moment and achieve authority. And in achieving this authority, where do I go? Deeper into motherfucking poverty. Because I need this sense of belonging. I don't want to. And then finding the sense of belonging, you want to get to a point where you dissociate from what you really are. You dissociate so much from what you really are that you don't even know who you are anymore. You just know the mask that you got to wear. So in this quest to belong, you can't accept rejection. People be like, yo, why do you have a hard? You always have a hard time with rejection when you're looking for a sense of belonging. I don't have a difficulty getting rejected. Man, I got curved a couple times in the last couple years and shit. Like, trying to shoot my shot at women and shit. And they just like, all right, bet. And it's like, all right, that's it. Like, you feel me? I'm cool. I don't have to, you know what I'm saying? It's like, you different. You not, there's nothing to cuss you out for. You're not gonna have to block me. You're not gonna have to call the police. You're not gonna have to worry about, giving me a fake number, no shit like that. You can reject me. You know why? Because I know how to accept rejection. You know why? Because I'm autonomous. I'm not out here playing a status. You see what I'm saying? Like, to where it's like, that's why niggas like, yo, what's wrong with me? What's that song by Albie Shore? I think it's Off on Your Own. He be like, what you mean? He said, what's wrong with me? I don't look good enough for you. Nigga, that's status. Light skin nigga shit. I shouldn't have said that, but I already said it. Fuck it. Look, when you are in that space, everybody prides himself off the status. And you know what I'm saying? Your sense of belonging is tied to your status. I'm not ugly. Don't call me ugly, this, and the third. You are. If that person says you ugly, you ugly. You can't get it. You like, I never forget the day it really dawned on me, yo. This is gonna sound crazy, but I'm not about to say pause because I don't need to say pause. So I'm chilling at lunch. I'm like 15, right? So I had in my pockets, I had some money that I was about to count. Now mind you, this whole thing is about sense of belonging and flex, and I ain't even gonna hold you. So I was around some girls. Now this is cool because I'm 15. I'm 15. You feel me? I'm in the sense of finding my belonging and shit. So I'm at this table. One of the girls I had smashed already. I wanted to smash the other one, but she wouldn't let me fuck. And now I understand why she wouldn't let me fuck that I'm older, because the other girl told her that I already fucked and I busted it down. But anyway, I was trying to get her hard. But they all ate lunch together and shit, and they had a homosexual homie who was, he sat at the table with him and shit. So one day I'm, flexing and shit, pull some money out, pocket and shit, and the condom is come out too. And I'm like, bam. And I'm like, I let the condom sit right there. You know what I'm saying? Let them know, yeah, I'm fucking, and I'm counting money. And so this is hilarious shit. So one of the girls, right? She tell me, she said, when you pulled that condom out, he says, I was like, man, fuck, I'm trying to get mad and shit and all of this. Like, I'm like, nigga. And I had to sit with it because, like, literally, this is when the moment happened. I was like 15. And I'm just sitting with it. I'm like, I'm mad and shit. And I'm like, I'm on a school bus on the way home. Still thinking about that shit. Like, yo, bitch ass nigga, man, I should slap the shit out of him, bro. Motherfucker, like, then I thought about it. I was like, how many women want to slap the shit out of me because they ain't interested in me? And I still like them. I said, nigga, dog. My autonomy kicked in. The authority and the status and the senses of belonging wasn't there no more. It was like, and then the authority that I developed through the belongings that I had, because that's another thing. The more belongings that you develop, the more senses of belonging that you engage yourself in and you get through, the more you associate them with authority. You feel me? So by 15 years old, you feel me? Now, mind you, you got a lot of the senses of belongings that you carry from middle school, elementary school. Like, how many worlds are you a part of that are not tied to your autonomy because of the sense of belonging that you wanted, that you developed year by year by year by year by year? Sit with that. You 30, 40, 50 years old now. But think about every year, all of the senses of belonging that you wanted to go through. And you didn't even realize it was a sense of belonging because now you start getting drugged into different things that you ain't supposed to be. You see what I'm saying? I remember when my homies and shit, we was trying to find out, like they was flip flopping in between gangs. Like I know niggas that used to rep Crip, used to rep Blood, and that rep Blood now. I know shit. I don't say shit because we was young and we never really jumped anybody in, but you feel what I'm saying? I seen it because it's the senses of belonging, and now everything that you do is tied to that. You see what I'm saying? And then you have to realize that somebody else's sense of belonging can violate your reality. And I mean that because I had a homeboy. Like we was tight. We was tight. And one of the reasons why I stopped fucking with him heavy, but no, I really didn't stop fucking with him heavy because I'm like, this is who you are. He met some new dudes or whatever. They was cool and shit like that. And they tried to break into my mama's house. But the neighbor seen him, called the police or whatever the case may be. And it's like, this nigga still came around. Both of the dude, like, and I told him, I said, I don't fuck with this nigga because his energy ain't right. Like, he don't, like, you feel me? But that's your man's. So I fuck, but it's like, when you fuck with somebody that I don't fuck with, it's like you have your sense of belonging is superseding your autonomy if we fucking boys. You know what I'm saying? If you my motherfucking homie and this nigga right here is he don't fit, like how does he fit right with you? You feel what I'm saying? So it's that sense of belonging. And then with time, I watched him morph into everybody he was trying to belong to. Never knew who he was. You feel me? We used to go to the barbershop and I'm like, I'm about to go get a haircut. You want to ride with me? Yeah, man. We'll go to the barbershop. I get my haircut first. He get his haircut just like mine. Oh, it's because you cool. Whenever he would get a girl or whatever the case may be, hey, yo, she straight. Nigga, you fucking her, not me. The fuck? Like, I'm just saying, bro. Like, nigga, you fucking her. It ain't mine, nigga. I don't give a fuck what she look like, nigga. You feel what I'm saying? Senses of belonging. The more belongings and the things that you have, the authority. Now, over time, it gets to a point where you have so many different senses of belonging within yourself that your authority is tainted, your autonomy completely. You don't know who you are anymore. These are the realities that we end up getting to. When people say, I don't even know who I am anymore, they can't figure out why, because they're not spending enough time trying to understand themselves. When I talked about the tree of life and actually going through the different chakras, going through the actual past, it's going to lead you back to understanding who you autonomously were before you started trying to belong to everything. And as you belong, it's going to start to help you shed away the things and get back to the core of who you are. People are like, I don't even know who I am anymore. They can rattle off all their status. Like when I graduated college, everybody was like, one of my advisors was like, why didn't I get an invitation? Because it's just college, bro. Like, the fuck? It's an accomplishment, though. You the first one to go. I'm like, I don't give a damn. This don't mean shit. Because no, I was still empty. I was still empty. I was not being me. I was being what everybody else needed me to be. Under the premise that I was being it for myself. You see what I'm saying? As I kept going and kept growing and going, I'm like, when am I going to feel complete, bro? Like I started picking up different things. So now, in order to move up in ranks and gain status, you have to find the belonging pockets that fit better for you. Till you get to that point where you're 45 years old, 42 years old, and you had that midlife crisis. Boom, everything collapses. I still don't know who the fuck I am. I still don't know who the fuck I am. That's a dangerous reality. You don't want to die not knowing who the fuck you are. Like you literally don't want to die knowing everything you aren't and none of what you are. When you talk to old people, I'm like, what's your biggest regret? That I didn't live my life. How did you know what your life was? I didn't. I followed and I did everything everybody wanted me to do. This is a common thing. This is not like, what I'm saying, one or two people. This is damn near every person I know who's talked to older people. Every older person I know that said the same shit. My biggest regret is that I didn't live my life. Well, what was your life? I don't know. I was so busy belonging to things that a lot of the shit that I belonged to, it locked me in and I couldn't get out of it. It's motherfuckers right now wondering why they got baby mamas and baby daddies because you were looking for a sense of belonging when you created that relationship. That's it. I'm learning I'm learning now, you know, that's one of the biggest things that conflicts with the relationships that I involve myself with now. They all want to be here because of the autonomy. They don't realize it's autonomy that it's like, "Ooh, I just love how you are," until they realize, "Yo, this is really how you are." Like, it ain't no, I gotta let the mask come out. Mm-mm. But I gotta let my mask out now because this has been authority. There's people right now that I know that's like, every time they start talking about, they don't think that we could fuck with each other because they think I have more authority than them. And even if I do, I don't let that get to the point of my autonomy superseding yours. So the sense of belonging that I've learned that a lot of people are looking for and they found within me is not a sense of belonging, it's an acceptance of autonomy. That's what the fuck we've been looking for all of this time. And when people talk to me, it's like, yo, I could just be so free with you. I know that autonomy is kicking in because you respect the real, recognize real, and you looking familiar. You feel what I'm saying? I happen to be fortunate enough to always display my autonomy. So people who, if you're in my space right now, if you're listening to my podcast, and not just like you just, this is one of your first episodes, listen to it. If you've been rocking with me for a long time, it's because your sense of belonging has reached the point where you want to have a sense of being. And I'm not saying I'm guiding you into being, follow me, no shit like that. But no, you gravitate to feel, what does it feel like? What does it look like? How do you do it? And still be able to maintain your authority. Because that's where the hard part is. Everybody get to where it's like, I want to do nothing. No, you want to stop belonging. You don't want to be. There's a difference. You have people who want to move from their sense of belonging to a state of being, and you have people who just don't want to belong. They're very similar in comparison to there's people who want to be free, and there's people who want oppression to stop. Two different conversations, but same words being used or being spoken, but it's two different conversations. So when you have people that, I just want to belong, I don't want to be, or I just want to stop belonging, they're dangerous. They're dangerous. You feel me? I'm going to say this and I'm going to start trying to wrap it up. Black women have reached the point where they've become the most educated. What were you trying to belong to? Because your entire autonomy is gone. It's gone. And now you're in a space of, ooh, let's embrace sexuality. Ooh, let's do this, that, and the third. Ooh, let's do this, that, and the third. And you don't even know who the fuck you are anymore. And I say that respectfully, and I say that with love. Because my brothers, you do it too. We've gained so much status in this oppressive world that we don't even know how to be free anymore. We justify our captivity now. We justify our oppression. I got my degree. I drive this car. I this, that, and the third. And I'm not saying don't have nice things. I'm not saying don't have nice things, but have nice things that relate to your autonomy and not nice things that relate to your authority. Because that you're going down a rabbit hole based off of your sense of belief. I mean, your sense of belonging, not on the state of being. Really sit and ask yourself, why do you feel like you're supposed to have that car? Now, this ain't to say equally, I'm just going to get me a car that can get me back and forth, whatever the case may be. No, get the fucking car you want. But why do you want that car? Is it because you want it? Or is it because you feel like you have to have it? Your authority says you have to have it. Like, what do you want? What do you want it for? Because I have to maintain my status, because the senses of belonging that I've developed over the years have pushed me into understanding or pushed me into moving into this authority space. And I'll be damned if I give up this authority. They'll tell you I've worked too hard to do X, Y, and Z. And you motherfuckers have realized that I've compromised my autonomy on so many different levels, on a multiplicity of levels, just to belong. I'll be damned if I stop belonging. That was a hard reality. I don't think y'all understand what I actually had to go through to get here. Like, I was in med school, dog. I was on path to be a forensic pathologist, homie. And the entire time my autonomy kept saying, no, I don't want to do this. Why we keep talking about it being, oh, my inner child is rebellious and all of this shit. Like, yo, stop seeing it as a fucking child. When you realize that your inner child, your ego, all of that shit is one and the same. And at some point it has to mature, and at some point it's supposed to be older than it is, and grow and develop. Realize what that point is. It's autonomy. That's what your inner child is. That's what the inner workings of you are. Autonomy. Getting to a point where I realized that when I had realized that there was like, when I was able to sprinkle, I'm really gonna say this, I'm gonna wrap it up. When I was able to sprinkle in a little bit of autonomy within the authority, everything was cool. Like when I would go to school, like, I'd be in physical science class and shit, just not even paying attention to the teacher. Got my MP3 in my headphones and shit, and I'm writing. I'm just writing rhymes, writing shit, pushing my pen like nigga. I didn't realize that my autonomy is words. My autonomy is my freedom with words. I used to think, oh, I'm a rapper, I'm a speaker, I'm a writer, I'm this, that. No, 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 no. I just have autonomy with words. I fucking love words, bro. Me and words are like, it's a match made in heaven. You feel me? It is what it is. You can tell the way that I break down from the etymology. Like, I love fucking words. So that's always like, I've always sprinkled in my autonomy. In 2016, when I became an entrepreneur, 2015, 16, I deleted all my music. All of my past music, I completely deleted it. And I was like, it hurt. And I was like, man, and I just didn't record. I didn't do nothing. I didn't write. I just stayed away from it. And I was like, this is what growing up feels like. You got to grow up. But it opened the door to show me how much autonomy how much that little bit of autonomy was what was fueling me, because my authority no longer mattered. Well, my authority was all that I had. And I was like, this shit different. So when it came to my captions, when it came to my posts and shit, that's when it started to come back. It's like, yo, this is where you're autonomous. This is who you are. This is what you are. This is how you get to be. Everything else was how I got to belong. You feel me? Talking to people, what do you do for a living? I live, nigga. The fuck do you do? Because people do that based off of, where do you belong? Where do you belong? Fuck where I belong, bitch. Where can I be? And that's what I reached the point of understanding and moving into. And as I was saying, so in deleting all that music and then like finding the separation between my authority, like, and actually sitting down and cleaning up the bullshit that I had developed from my authority, the fucked up shit that I had come into because of my authority. And then being able to revive my autonomy again, I was able to see it for what autonomy really is and say, yo, I don't have to sit here and belong anymore, because now I get to be. So now, in a sense of belonging, when this is how your autonomy is tainted, because it's like, you don't try to figure out how to be autonomous. You try to figure out the ways to make things easy so you could be. So now, when a record exec hits a motherfucker with a 360, you can't get mad at that. You're not choosing to be autonomous with your gift. They're going to use your autonomy, but they got to make sure that your autonomy can be like, this is why they say the people that are willing to actually do the work are the ones that succeed, because they're autonomous with it. But the people that just want to belong, well, I'm ready to get signed, I want to be here. You're going to do some hoe shit. You're going to do some hoe shit, bro. And you're not going to be able to take it as far as you're supposed to take it because you have no autonomy with the shit. You feel what I'm saying? One of the wildest realities when it comes to that music shit is that your art is called your master. The final piece of your art is your master's, and you don't own it. That's different. That's different. And a lot of people don't own their masters solely because they can't do it. I'm not mad at that shit, because now that I learned how to do the full shit, I always know how to mix. But now I know how to do the shit for real. And watch the sessions. They're getting better and better if you're listening to them. But as I'm doing that, it's the challenge of it all. You know what I'm saying? Knowing that I get to be in this space. This is all me. Nobody gets to have control over this. I'm not mad at it when a motherfucker got to spend 2-3 hours just to make a drum sound good or this, that, and the third. It's like, yeah, nigga, I'm taking a piece of that shit. I don't give a fuck. Like, you're not owning this. You're not owning this piece of art. You know why? Because you were just like, when you look at the artist who doesn't know how to do any of the shit that they do, they are merely a color on the canvas. Somebody else is painting that and using them as a color on the canvas. No, nigga, I'm the artist, nigga. I don't give a fuck what your contract say about the artist, this, that, and the third. No, nigga, I'm the fucking artist. Therefore, I'm controlling where these pieces go. I know where my voice is supposed to sit within a song. I know where the kick's supposed to go. I know where the violins are gonna go. I know where these different sounds have to go because I hear it here. But now when I have to tell somebody, my autonomy is gone when I need somebody else to bring this out of my head. And as long as I look for a sense of belonging, authority is going to put me in a position where I'm always going to need somebody to draw my autonomy out. And when they draw my autonomy out, they're going to put a price on it. And they're going to say, this is what I give you for your autonomy. I can't argue with it. I can't set no price. You know why? Because I'm looking for a sense of belonging and I'm not able to be. I'm going to hop on social media and tell a motherfucker, yeah, you got to learn how to play this game. What? Nigga, you can't win the game. It's not a winnable game. That's the game. Learn how to play the game so we can win. You don't win in this motherfucker. You don't. You just gain. You gain the riches and you gain the money and you lose yourself. Like, it's ironic how people will always say, what is it to gain the whole world and lose your soul, while they're gaining the world and losing their soul? That's some wild shit. For your sense of belonging, you are literally gaining the world and losing your soul. The reason why is because you're tapping into your authority and you're like, you can't in one breath demand the authority. Yeah, I worked hard. I got this position. I got this, that, and the third. And then be like, yo, where's your autonomy at? What? What's that? Oh, nah, that was childish shit. That was shit I used to do when I was a kid, and it still sits in the back of your motherfucking mind that you want to do it now, don't it? You know why? Because what your autonomy is understanding a science and developing an art out of it. It doesn't matter what it is. It doesn't matter what it is. The moment your soul is wired to understanding something in a way in which you can think about it and you feel it, you have science and art sitting right there. The goal is to create. But you cannot create when you are still looking for a sense of belonging. You can only duplicate. You don't create until you walk into a space of being. And don't forget to check out Cafe Clothing, formerly Just Scenes merch. Get all of your intricate designs crafted specifically for the melanated being to develop a positive imagery within self and to have a little bit of fun in the process. From the peace, love, knowledge, and freedom to the dead horses and water designs, all of the styles are crafted for the imagery to make you feel as you're supposed to feel. Because as I always say, the best way to fit in is to stand out. And what better way to stand out than with your exclusive styles from Cafe Clothing. All right. I'm going to go ahead and end it there. Again, this is a continuation. It's block spinning, bringing shit all back. Like, there's a lot of episodes that came into this acceptance and rejection. Ultimately, belonging is because we want and we have a desire for our autonomy to shine, but we're trying to do it while seeking authority. It don't work like that. It don't work like that. You feel me? There's multiple ways in which you can say it. Like the book say your gift will make room for you, open doors for you, some shit like that. Motherfucking who you really are. It shows when you really who you are. You see what I'm saying? When people be telling you like, and this a lot of times we miss a lot of blessings, we miss a lot of opportunities. Like, your name is being spoken in rooms you ain't even in yet, and your mind is processing your authority being spoken when it's not your authority, it's your autonomy. But you ain't been developing your autonomy, so when the moment shows up or the opportunity shows up, and that's the room that you were supposed to be in, you're not autonomous enough to stay there. And now you think, oh, I missed the opportunity because your authority was ready. But your authority isn't where your opportunities are going to come from. Nobody tells you that. But we spend years, decades chasing and trying to find the sense of belonging that gives us an authority that grants us the authority that's now people fuck with me. Now you got to stay in that corny ass box. You don't even like who you are no more. Now you just pretending that you like the shit that you did. I know motherfuckers that's like, they've been working and I've been in this field for 40 years, 30 years and shit. They teach you, they program you. If you love what you do, if you do what you love, you'll never work a day in your life. Nobody ever told you if you do what you're autonomously driven to, you're never working a day in your life. So while we sitting here finding a sense of belonging, we don't even know who we are and we're doing shit that we quote unquote are interested in, thinking that we love it. Now we got to make ourselves love it. That's why every 3 years you want a new job. That ain't no accident, nigga. That's not where you're supposed to be. When you are autonomously walking in your space, there's no time. Time does not exist anymore. It just don't. You don't even need alarm clocks to wake up no more. Because you are that excited about getting up to do it again. Y'all niggas ain't tired. Y'all ain't excited about waking up and go exhibiting your authority. Going to be another manager over some fucking punk ass kids that are your age. It's like, nigga, the fuck is wrong with y'all, bruh? It's authorities clashing and no autonomy. And we play around, we get in those playful spaces where we want to do stupid shit like that because of the way our autonomy is wired. We rebel because we want our autonomy to show. So we do stupid shit. Workplace romances, they work because our autonomies, the hidden thrill of our autonomies doing some shit and going against authority. Yeah. Half the shit you do is because your autonomy is going against authority. That's it. That's really what it boils down to. And we don't really see it. We don't know it. And honestly, I don't even feel like we fucking care because we belong somewhere. Ask somebody, what you do for a living? You feel me? I remember when I was going to med school, my mom, in a moment, she's telling her cohorts about it and shit at work. And, everybody try to one up you and shit. I don't know why. Like, don't try to one up me because this is what I do. And when I do it, I do it. When I don't, I don't. But she's telling she's telling the lady about it and shit. So it's like, yeah, my son, he works in a nuclear plant, nuclear power plant. And so it was one of those things like, yeah, like, you asked about my son. So I tell you just I said, all right, cool. And I told my mom, I said, Homer Simpson working the power plant too. The fuck? Like, what's she saying? Like, and my mom busts out laughing. She was like, I said, yeah, Homer Simpson works in a fucking nuclear power plant. Like, what, you see what I'm saying? Like, was she trying to compare? Like, okay, yeah, he's going to med school, this, that, and the third. It's like, yeah, what it is. Now, because I didn't finish, my status is completely gone amongst motherfuckers, right? I was talking to somebody who was like, yo, you got a whole degree. Why ain't you using it? I used it, my nigga. What you mean you used it? Like, hey, nah, bro, you could be making this, that, and that. I used it to write a book I used it to write a book that's going to perpetuate money on a regular basis. What? Like, what you like? The hours, the money that I can make doing daily work or shit like that, I combine all of that shit into a book. The skills, the expertise, everything, I combine it into a book and a course and a curriculum, and I sell it. Like, now, when my kids come into this world, they have a head start. I already built the momentum off. I'm building the momentum, and I'm going to have the momentum so fluid that when my kids come in, just take it and run, baby. Pick which brand you want to have. Build your own, because I'm going to teach you those realities, but build your own. But be autonomous in what you build. This is what daddy do. Now, you're going to need daddy shit because I can't let you just, now, use daddy shit to start yourself off. You see what I'm saying? Like, they can't fathom that. It completely blows their mind and they can't realize what it is that I'm saying to them because they've been looking for a sense of belonging for so long. It's like, yo, you should be belonging to this. Nigga, I did belong to that and I don't belong to it anymore. Now I get to be with what I learned from that. Like, that's a different level of flex. Like, in my opinion, fuck the degree. Because the degree means I got to go and if they want to fire me, I have to now behave. Now I'm free. I can do whatever the fuck I want to do. You can't control me. You can't control me, and my autonomy is able to reign supreme and fly and do what it needs to do. But as long as you're looking for that sense of belonging, your authority is going to always be what you chase. We don't realize that. I just want to fit. I just want to be here. I just want to be here. I just want to be here. Some of y'all motherfuckers, y'all ain't even homebodies, bro. Like, it's so many women I know. It's so many people. Oh, I'm a homebody. I'm a homebody. I just like to stay out the way. You don't. You don't. You just don't like. You are at a point where you don't like belonging, because you know you don't belong where you know you don't belong where you ended up at. You ain't no fucking homebody. Nobody likes to stay confined into an empty space. No, 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 no. Y'all, no, no. Ain't no fucking way. Nobody's a homebody, bro. They're just not living in their autonomy. Your autonomy is gonna keep you outside. It's gonna keep you active. It's gonna keep you doing something. You a homebody, but when you come home, what do? Really, if you a real homebody, what do you do when you come home? Bullshit. You feel me? Bullshit. It's escapism. You feel what I'm saying? Because you don't, where you have ended up, you know you don't belong. So you justify it as I'm a homebody. So that way, my autonomy is here, but I still don't use it. I just use my autonomy to watch my favorite TV shows, entertain myself. I rather allow something to entertain me than entertain myself with my autonomy. Again, because you now belong to something that you never wanted to belong to. You can't walk away from it. That's what this whole system was designed for. We're going to create all these senses of belonging. You're going to now get stuck in it. Boom. Now you're stuck here. You can't leave. Learn how to move into in your autonomy, and you'll maneuver a lot differently. You no longer seek a point of being, a belonging. You seek a point of being. You ultimately reach a higher point too, where you're able to accept rejection. That's the ultimate piece of this. When people ask me, how can I walk away from shit so smoothly? I'm like, cuz nigga, when I'm rejected, I'm out. I don't have a reason. I'm not trying to, like, you feel me? It's women, they be, you're not applying pressure. You rejected me, baby girl. I'm not, what you mean pressure? I'm not trying to belong with you. You're not I'm not looking for a sense of belonging from you, baby. I don't know what you thought this was, homie. You think I'm gonna jump through hoops and try to prove shit? And a lot of times that's what men be saying, man, these hoes ain't worth all of that shit, because like, yo, my autonomy is not about to try to belong with you, but I don't know how to articulate that. You see what I'm saying? Women be like, yo, you went days on them without talking to me. Yeah, you left me on red. The fuck? The fuck I'm gonna talk to you for, bro? I'm accepting your rejection. You think your rejection is a hint. You think your rejection, I'm accepting your rejection while you're using your rejection as a test to me. I'm not gonna fail that motherfucker because I'm not gonna take it. You feel me? I got women right now. It's like I can go to our thread and I'm still left on red. And they like, like, if you leave me on red, I'm not responding to you. If we're doing voice memos and you leave me on kept, I'm not responding to you. Oh, now they'll go tell their friends, because again, since it's a belonging and shit, oh girl, he don't want you. He must have somebody else on the side. My autonomy is showing me something bigger. You play too many games. Your sense of belonging now conflicts with my sense of being. You feel me? And now you listening to your homegirls, you listen to your sister circles, and they telling you stupid shit. Like, they telling you the whole bunch of wrong shit, and you don't even know what it is that you're supposed to be listening to, because those ain't even your real friends. You know why? Because your status and your belonging has led you to being able to be involved with those people, and now your being is tainted. Every woman that I know that I've been involving myself with, who they are when they with me is not who they are in the world. But who they are in the world is who they have to be, because all of the different shit, all of the different things that they done locked into belonging to, that's how they got to stay stuck. And they don't want to let it go, because now they don't they know what's going to happen when they have to walk into their autonomy. Because I'm proof of it. Oh yeah, that old life, that shit dies. That shit's gone. So again, back to the homebodies and shit. Niggas don't be homebodies. I'm now at a space where I can have my autonomy without being judged, without being worried, without being all these different things. So I stay away from where I belong because I know I'm not supposed to be there. I've reached the belonging. I got my status there, but I stay away from it because I don't really want to be there. We got to stop doing this stupid shit. It's not good for your mental health. You feel me? It's not good for your mental health. But you never know it as long as you're still chasing belonging. And you think that that's what you really want. Motherfucker, I just want to be loved. I just want to be respected. Nah, you want to belong somewhere. If you were walking in your autonomy, those things come by default. It is what it is, and it ain't what it ain't. But you got to ask yourself, all of this time, did you really want belonging? All of it, like, is your entire life built off what you wanted to belong to? If you try to say no, you're lying. If you went to college, you got the good degree, it's because you wanted to belong to some shit. Is it beneficial to you right now? I'm just talking about financially because you can pay your bills and shit like that. On the real, is your autonomy still valid? Can you really be yourself? Mm-mm. I know you can't, because that's how you keep the shit. Because you've already reached the level of belonging. Now you're facing two different dualities in which your autonomy is clashing with your authority. Now you have to keep gaining authority to erase your autonomy because your autonomy won't leave you the fuck alone. Ooh, I just want to go sit by the ocean. Ooh, I just want to do this, then the third. It's like, your autonomy is where it's not supposed to be. Because your authority is so wired into now you belong here. So performing, you're going to keep performing. You're never going to get to be. Feel me? And I'm not saying just today's the day I cut this shit off. Like entrepreneur shit, like quit your job. No, don't you dare do no shit like that. Tap into your autonomy first and know what the fuck you supposed to be doing. Because you cannot, you don't, there's no authority here in the entrepreneur space. There's only autonomy. Nobody gonna wake you up. Nobody's gonna tell you to do shit like that. No. So stay in the. You keep looking for your sense of belonging. Go for that next raise. Go for that this, that, and the third. When this sense of belonging no longer serves me, now I got to go to another one. Do you see the fuck up? Do you see the game? We got to stop doing that. Some of us stuck in it and we can't, because now they're gonna create the whole useless class of motherfuckers who. I ain't even gonna talk about that. That's a whole nother episode. But I'm gonna go ahead and end that shit there. Go kiss your babies. Make sure they eat their vegetables. And our babies, watch them move. Watch them move in autonomy and nurture that. Even the Bible say, train a child up in the way they should go. Guide a child according to their autonomy. Stop making them follow your authority. I get it. Parents, honor your children, honor your parents, for this is right in the Lord. But even the motherfucking other side of it says, parents, do not stir your child up to dissent. No, do not stir your child up to anger. Oh, y'all don't know that one though, huh? And they in the same motherfucking chapter, 2 verses apart. You know that your kid's supposed to honor you, but you don't know that you ain't supposed to stir your kids up to anger. You feel me? But you're supposed to train them up in the way in which they should go, and that's the way in which their autonomy is designed to move. You got to have your own autonomy to be able to see theirs, but you're trying to use your authority that you don't have. This is why it conflicts. When you go to work, the authority struggle is different. Motherfuckers be like, yo, they had the podcast episode and shit, and like, she respect the white man once you respect the husband or her man at home and shit like that. No. It's two different levels of authority. This authority pays my bills. That authority wants me to go half. I ain't gonna fuck with it. So now, but even still, you have a whole authority figure that it's like this why I'm like, I can't fathom and I can't comprehend. I cannot get jiggy with the shit. When motherfuckers say, turn the cheek to your enemy, but beat your kids. Turn the cheek to your enemy, but spare the rod on your spoiled child. Like, what? How did that make sense? Because it ties to your perception of authority and your sense of belonging to gain authority. This authority in me has to respect the authorities outside of myself, but the authority within my own context don't respect it. Exert my authority, but submit or bend to the authority of something else. You feel what I'm saying? Don't make sense to me. Don't make sense to me. But what we do is we take that out on the babies. The authority that we don't have from the sense of belonging that we go through and develop all this misery. Now we come back and take it out on our autonomous children. We authoritatively take out our frustrations or whatever on our autonomous children. And we force their autonomy into authority, and they exhibit it and they become bullies and they start. We got to stop doing this shit, y'all. Our children want senses of belonging, and a lot of the belonging that they want is love, protection, and like all of the shit that they call a love language is the shit that we were deprived of as kids. That means the shit ain't a love language, nigga. It's an addiction. It's a drug. What you didn't get as a kid is what you're going to go look for in the world, and that's your love language. So like an acts of service. You do acts of service because you think doing them because of the authority structure is going to give them back to you. No, be autonomous, and whatever you lack will be filled and given to you because you're going to give it out in the world naturally. Now you just have to make sure you're not in a sense of belonging, you're in a state of being. We got to make sure we teach our babies the right way. Because if not, they're going to grow up to be grumpy old motherfuckers who follow in authority, who feel like certain shit, and they're going to be miserable again. Go through the teenage rebellious phase, go through the midlife crisis. Keep doing the same shit, bro. There's no reason why everything should be so systemized to where we know what year and what time is going to happen. I can't be the only one who sees this shit. If we're all individualistic people, there's no way we should always be moving according to the same fucking timeline. Something don't make sense unless it's the system programmed that way. Teach your babies the right way so they can break out of the system and they can continue moving how they're supposed to move. I'm going to go in there, go kiss your babies, make sure they eat their vegetables, and I'm going to see y'all all on the next one. Peace, love, knowledge, and freedom. I'm out.